All right, today we're diving into something that is, frankly, a game changer for registered massage therapists in Canada. It's the Massage Therapist's Guide to Business Mastery by Andrei Kovalevskii. So what's the big deal? Well, this is the very first business guide written specifically for Canadian RMTs by a Canadian RMT. It tackles the unique challenges we face right here, especially in Ontario. Let's get into it.
So, picture this. You've graduated. Your clinical skills are sharp, you know the human body inside and out, and you have a real passion for helping people. But then, the book hits you with this huge question right out of the gate. You're a great healer, sure, but are you ready to be a business owner? Because, as you'll see, being an amazing therapist and running a successful business are two totally different worlds.
And boom. This quote right from the introduction just nails the problem. For way too long, aspiring RMTs in Canada have been learning how to run a business from American textbooks. And the issue is, they're not just a little outdated, they're basically irrelevant to our specific rules, our market, and our financial systems here in Ontario. This book was literally written to fill that massive gap. And that all leads to what the author calls the RMT business gap. You know, that giant chasm between being a gifted, hands-on healer and a sharp, successful entrepreneur.
Think about it. Our schools are fantastic at teaching us anatomy, physiology, and all the hands-on techniques. But where they often fall short is preparing us for the cold, hard realities of being a business owner in Canada. We're talking about the stuff that actually keeps the lights on, like how to navigate Ontario's specific regulations, how to market yourself without breaking the rules, and understanding Canadian financial principles. You're just not going to get that from a textbook made for someone in Florida.
So if there's this huge gap, who's the right person to build the bridge? Well, let's meet the author, Andrei Kovalevskii, because his story is pretty unique.
And his journey is just wow. He starts out as a physician and a healthcare manager, so he gets the clinical world from a leadership angle. But then, he goes and gets a marketing degree from a top-tier management program, so he has serious business expertise. Then, he becomes an RMT himself and opens his own clinic right here in Ontario, so he has lived and breathed the exact challenges this book is about. And just for good measure, add in the discipline of being on the Olympic medical team and finishing an ultramarathon. This isn't just an author. This is a guide with an absolutely unparalleled mix of medical, business, and real-world in-the-trenches experience.
Okay, so with a guide like that, we can finally dig into the book's core, the entrepreneur's blueprint. And what's interesting is where it starts. It's not with a business plan or a spreadsheet. It starts with a fundamental shift in how you think. The book argues that the single biggest hurdle for any RMT is making the jump from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset. It's the difference between just receiving a steady paycheck and actually being the one who generates all the income. It's about going from following directions to being the one making all the decisions, while also taking on all the risk. This isn't just a minor tweak. It's about taking complete and total ownership of your career's success. So once your head is in the right space, it's time to build the foundation. The book lays out the three core choices you have here in Ontario. Do you go for a sole proprietorship? It's simple and cheap to set up, but you have unlimited personal liability, meaning your personal assets are on the line. Or do you go for a corporation, which protects your assets but is way more complex and expensive to run? The book really emphasizes that getting this one decision right from day one can save you a world of hurt later on.
Okay, so with those foundations set, the book then gets into the fun stuff, the strategies for actually building a thriving practice. How do you get clients walking through that door and create a business that lasts?
And the blueprint covers all the marketing fundamentals you would expect, right? You got to have a good website, you need to use social media, network with people. These are the universal pillars for growing pretty much any service business anywhere. Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Well, here is where a Canadian-specific guide goes from being nice to have to absolutely essential. Because following generic advice without knowing the local rules of the road, that can get you into some serious hot water. And there it is. Any American marketing book will scream at you to use client testimonials. They're social proof. But here in Ontario, our regulatory body, the CMTO, strictly forbids it. You cannot use them in your advertising, period. Think about that. Following that generic advice could actually put your license on the line. This one little detail proves why a guide written for us isn't just helpful, it's non-negotiable.
Finally, the book really ties it all together. It connects that core passion you have for healing with the very real, tangible goal of building a profitable career that can sustain you for the long haul. And this is not just some fuzzy, feel-good idea. The book gives you a super detailed, sample business plan for a solo RMT practicing in Ontario. And that big number you're looking at?
That is the projected net profit after 1 year. All of a sudden, that dream of having your own successful practice becomes something concrete, something achievable, something very, very real.
So it all comes down to this one question. For any RMT in Canada who feels that gap between their incredible clinical skills and their business ambitions, this guide is it. It's a clear, practical, and most importantly, a locally relevant roadmap to mastering your craft and your business.